All right, hey guys, Jason here, and we are back, and today we're going to talk about this bike. Now, I actually did a full video showing you how I set this bike up. I will link it at the end, because that was how I set it up for hunting. Today we're going to talk about the bike itself. This is the Fiido, this is the Fiido T1 Pro, and we're going to dive into it. Now, as far as the actual bike itself, the only thing I have modded on this bike is I changed the tires out, and I will show you what the original tires were on there, but I did it before I even bought it. So I never drove this with the street tires on it. But what we have here is we have a cargo style e-bike, and they're designed to haul stuff. They're designed for commuting around town. That's why they came with the more universal tire on it, where I'm out here in the dirt is where I'm running this thing all the time. And so I wanted a better tire that's going to keep me from falling over and not be quite so slippery. So I put the CST BFT these 2x4s or 20-inch by 4 tires on there. And they give me a little bit more aggressive traction on this for riding out here. But this bike itself is incredibly affordable. Okay, it's they say on their website, they say $16.99 and it's on sale for $1,000. And it seems like it's always on sale for $1,000. So for practical purposes, it's $1,000 bike. And it's a steal of a deal for the bike. Okay, you're getting a lot for this $1,000. There's no doubt about it. You get some great features. We'll cover them and dive into them. But basically, you're getting up to, now ranges are hypothetical because of the fact that it varies on how much you pedal. But this particular one claims 93 miles of range with this battery. So you have the battery pack on here. You have disc brakes on the front of this thing, and on the rear of it you have disc brakes right there. You have a 750 watt hub motor on the back, and you have a 3-piece crank on it. You can see the hub motor right there. So you can see a number of it. What we're looking at right there is 48 volt, 750 watt Fiido T1 rear drive motor on this thing. And I love that it comes stock with the fenders. So you get fenders front and rear, keeps the mud off you. But this thing does fantastic. The forks on the front work excellent. They are fully adjustable forks. You can change the settings, and you can also lock them out. So you can make it a rigid front end if you want to. It rides really nice. Like I said, I've already washed this thing a few times to get the crap off of there from how muddy it's been out here. But it's a great bike. It does its job very well. You have your full layout display here, which I don't got the key in it to turn it on yet, but you got your, I will. We'll turn it on here in a second, but you got 7 speeds on a single front cassette and a 7-speed rear cassette. So you got 7 total different speeds. You got Shimano derailleurs on here. Like I said, this thing is done well. Quick release clamp for the seat post, and you have a suspension seat post. I don't have enough pressure on my hand to put it down, but there it is right there. So it gives you a lot of features and that capability. It comes stock with the cargo bike style, meaning that the rack is not an add-on. You can see that this all green, the whole frame is the rack. So there's nothing bolted on or anything. The actual frame itself creates the rack in the back, and it gives you this nice wood panel on here, and you can put panner bags or whatever you want to. This is because I carry a water bottle right here on the front that sits there, keeps it from making noise. But they give you the setup, and then your battery is right here and removable. We'll talk about that in a minute. You also get this basket on the front, comes stock on there. Love that. In here is where I keep all of my extra cargo stuff. All the things that I need is in this thing right here. My tool kit, my spare tube, my pump, everything I need for that is in there. My bike lock there. I also have this on here because I put a cooler on here, a soft-sided cooler with all my food in there, and a rack for your fishing poles, gun, bow, whatever you want to put on the front. That as an accessory I added on, but you do get stock the headlight on the front. This is a high and low beam, and it is amazing. Thing works perfect, runs right off the battery, so it's real setup, real simple, real easy, and 20 by 4-inch tire, 4-inch wide tires. Those tires are nice and beefy. We love that factor on it. So like I said, it's a really good bike setup. Now for the battery system, what you do is there's a lever underneath the seat right here. I press that lever and tip it up, and the whole seat comes up, and then here comes the battery. I can pull the battery right out. I gotta have the key in there to do that, but the battery pops right out. Now what I like about that, having the removable battery, is the fact that I can take it inside the house to charge this, and it just lifts right up and out, and I can take this in the house to charge it and do whatever I want to with it and keep it nice and warm instead of being out in the cold. So it's nice to have that feature. It slides in on a track system. The controller and everything is mounted and sealed in that box down below. Real simple system. And what else is nice too is with the weight, most of the weight of this bike is in this battery. So it's a big beefy battery. And for like Tina, if she wanted to load this bike up herself or anything like that, it's a lot easier to load it without the battery in it because that's where all the weight is. So being able to take that out of there is great. And having the weight of that battery be basically right under your seat is a gold mine. Right there where your weight is, okay, rather than having it in other places. So I like that setup. It's right there on the back wheel. Gives you a nice light front end. You get your gear in the back. You also have the low profile step-through design. This is a beautiful feature for this bike. To get through this, okay, look at how easy this is to get into here. I don't have to fight over a top high bar. It's that easy to step in right over that, just like that. So it makes a big difference when riding this bike to be able to do that. A lot of the stuff I'm going to get into when I go down into here is going to be blow down trees, and to be able to just step over and out of this bike that easy all the time, to walk it, to maneuver it, to step over it, to get in stuff. I mean, it's a gold mine setup to have that, not have a high crossbar on there. I like the lower profile of that. I'm not saying that the other ones are bad. I'm just saying I really like that feature of this and what it's capable of. So beautiful design bike. Now we have the key in there. Start it up. See if it will here. You got to press and hold this for like 5 seconds to get it to fire. There we go. So now we're on. This is your pedal assist mode. Okay, you got powers on here. You got 1. Okay, and then you go 2, 3. Okay, you got different levels. Each one of these levels, and you even got 0 in here. Oh, hang on, 0. 0 means that there is no input from the motor to the pedals. Means you do all the work 100%. When I go to power 1, okay, that means that it is going to, it's a speed level of, meaning that as I pedal, this torque sensor in here, or this booster, which mine broke actually, you can see that I have a new one on order. That brings us another point to the, again, because remember, I'm not gentle on this. This thing is getting beat. I'm riding over sticks and rocks and all kinds of stuff. Something flew up and snapped that off there, but I have a new one coming, okay, and that's the beauty of a company that's been making bikes for a while too. Fiido, or Fiido, however you say it, they have replacement parts. That part was $21 with free shipping. So I have a new one on the way, okay, but I can get those parts for it. That is a beautiful factor. But it's going to put that power on 1. It means that as I put input, it's going to take me up to about 1 speed higher somewhere. I don't know. It's like, and it varies on your terrain you're in, but let's say it's going to take me up to 7 miles per hour. As I pedal, this is going to put motor input into that and get me up to that speed, and it does most of the work. I do like 15%. It does like 85% through the motor. When I go to 2, and I take this up to 2, it's going to do the same thing, but it's going to now get me going faster, take me up to, say, 12 miles an hour. And when you go to 3, it's going to take you to, say, 15 miles an hour. Now, you can also unlock this. There's rocket mode in here somehow, and I can't remember how to do it. I did it, and it's nice because it lets you get up to 21 miles an hour. I turned it back off because I don't need it. It takes more battery, and so you're not going to get as much mileage. But I don't need it anyway because of the stuff I'm on. I'm not going 20 miles an hour through these nasty, messed up places that I'm in. This is nice and beautiful. I drove my truck down here. I get on the other side of that gate, it's ugly, and I'm not going to be going that fast. So I'd rather have the power set up. You also have your light right here. Here's your light, high beam, low beam. All of these features can also be done right here through here. I can hit this and change that. You can see a screen changing every time I push this button. So it's right there at your fingertips. I have a horn right there if you want a horn. And we have the mode. I can change the mode of this and see how many miles I went. I can see the odometer. I can see for this last trip I was on. I can see everything I want to do with this right there. So it gives you nice features in there. And now it also has a trip gauge up here, tells you how much you went for that specific trip. You can see what I got on the bike total. Like I said, don't let that fool you though. That 11.2 miles that I got on this thing, that's 0.2 miles of some nasty, unpassable stuff. And this bike has been doing fantastic. So really impressed with this bike and what it's capable of and how well it does. I like the speed I'm getting out of it. I like the comfort level of it. And I love the low center of gravity on this thing. And I also love that parts are replaceable, that you can get parts anywhere for, or not anywhere, but parts they offer these. Okay, these companies been around for a while, and they got these parts available for it. And then this is your shifter right here, shift up, shift down, your speed indicator, your front brake, your front brake, rear brake, and then you have your throttle right here. This throttle is going to give you, you hit that when you got this set up, you're gone when you hit that. So it'll take off for you. So beautiful setup, great bike, very impressed with it, does a fantastic job, and I can highly recommend it. I like everything about it. This is my first e-bike. Hopefully there'll be more of them too. I have high expectations of trying more of these, but they really do let me get places that I couldn't get otherwise, just from time constraints alone. Excuse me. I don't have the option of being able to walk 5 miles back to a spot to hunt and then be there for 4 hours and then walk 5 miles back and be out before you got to be off the WMA. I can't do that. This allows me to get to those places. So they've done great. It also has a rear light back here, right back there as well too, so you have that on there, and a kickstand is included. So like I said, it's a pretty sweet little bike, especially for the money. Everything's fully adjustable, fully set up the way you want it to. It's quality built. The frame seems tough as nails, weighs about 80 pounds, you know, I put it right on that rack right there. Motorcycle rack is what I'm using to carry it on, but it's a pretty dang good bike. I am very, very impressed with what this bike does and how it works. I don't have a real complaint about it. For you so you can kind of see what we're talking about. Like I said, so nice to step through. You can see I got all my gear on here, my packs on there, my bows on there, everything set that I need on here. It's so nice, especially these big snake boots, be able to get right through there real easy. The kickstand, and here we go. Just give her a little push, you can just whatever you want. We're going right into power mode, okay? But if I'm pedaling this, like you can see, the motor is doing most of the work right now. That I mean, as I'm pedaling, it doesn't matter, that motor is doing 90% of it. As long as I'm spinning my pedals, the motor's kicking in. But however, it does all the work. I'm not really providing any force to this. I'm just rolling the pedals around. But we can also not do anything with the pedals and just hit this throttle, and we gone. Okay, and it'll go. It'll just keep, I mean, we'll fly through here. Okay, and we're not gonna keep going that fast. Like I said, you can see we got sticks and debris all over here. This is an unmaintained road here. We don't get the luxury. This has got holes in it and all kinds of stuff on here, and it can be tricky to do. But the beauty of this system is, with this rack and everything being with 20-inch tires, we get a really low center of gravity on here. So even though I'm hitting a lot of crap in here, and like this hole right there, a lot of this stuff, nothing's knocking me around much or making it hard for me, because of the fact that we got such a low center of gravity. And with that rack being as low over a 20-inch tire back there as we see right on here, with this rack being down so low, rather than having a 26-inch tire and then a rack and everything, all this stuff being up here where it's much more top heavy and wants to throw you around, on this one we don't have that problem. So it's really stable with that. Now 26-inch tires would be nice because they would bridge the bumps just a little bit better. There's no doubt about that. But the advantage of the weight hauling capacity, this thing will hold 450 pounds and move it pretty good. So there's a lot of beauty to that factor of it. You can definitely feel both the seat working, the seat post, the cushion seat post, I can feel it working, and the front forks. I can feel them eating up the bumps on here pretty good. So it does a very good job with that as well too. So it's got a lot of features to it. And the power is good. Like I said, it's your standard 750 watt motor, and it's going to move. Right now we're just using regular electric mode, and I've already done, I think this is still set up from doing about 8 miles yesterday, and there you can see our battery gauge has just dropped 1 bar just now. And when I say 8 miles, I mean 8 miles of this crap, not 8 miles of this thing. Has barely been on pavement, only for about 1.5 miles or so around my house. Now if you can see in front of us, we got a log down, a tree. Okay, that's another place that the step-through design of this thing in that low center of gravity is nice. I'll show you. So when we come up to here, we can get up here quick, because like I said, you got power here. But when we come up to here, we got to get around this thing. Okay, so if we look at this, there's a little walk trail path through here. Right there, I can't actually ride through that very good because I got the gear on the back. I don't want to snag my bow on stuff, but I can turn this like this. I can come around to the other side of this bike like this, and with just using the throttle, okay, just touching that throttle, I can let the power of this bike walk itself through here. But that low center of gravity, the easy step through on here, and all of this weight being down low makes it very not top heavy, very low in the weight, very easy to sling. And like I said, I just touch this throttle and she goes, and we are able to move along through here. Just want to make sure all my stuff fits. Hold on, we got a snag up here. Turn that a little more. There we go. And we can work our way through all this stuff. Coming around through here, we got to get around that big log. Now I could have lifted the bike over it too, but remember, I'm only 5'6", and that log's it's a pretty big size log. It's easier to just walk it through here, and there's no effort on my part because the bike is doing it all. The motor, I'm tapping the motor and making the actual, I think that's the one I used last time, but the actual motor of the bike is doing all the work, pushing its own self along. So it's just really a nice feature. And at low, look at, see how low I tip that bike to get around this stuff? And no, you know, it's not hard on my 26-inch mountain bike that I used to have, the fat tire bike. That would be really tough to do and be really exhausting because the weight was always up so high on those wheels back there. I know this is not what most of you guys are doing with a fat tire bike, or I mean with an e-bike, but this is what I bought it for. So when we hit it, and here we go. Okay, and we going. I barely ever really pedal. I didn't buy an e-bike to pedal. No offense to whatever anybody wants to do, but I bought an e-bike to get me here where I don't got to work hard. So even though it does good, and there's that motor kicking in, I did not buy a bike to pedal it. I bought an e-bike so I don't have to pedal. See, like this one, as long as that bowl clears, we can get by, we're good. Plenty of power. I've had this thing on a hill that was so steep that I wouldn't even think about taking my truck up or down it. And I drove this bike up it, and it was just pure motor. But right at the top it was kind of struggling. But I mean, if you live in the mountains, you probably want a mid drive so that you can maximize that hill climbing capability. But for what I need, and for the money and for the cost of this bike, how affordable it is, the quality level we're getting for that, and the front basket, the rear rack, the speed, you know, everything that I need is in this bike, and I'm super impressed with it. I can't say anything else like other than that. Is it for $1,000? This is a super impressive bike on every kind of imaginable level. But again, you see, we got tons of these we got to deal with. These are part of the game here. You know, when stuff comes through, hurricanes come through down here, you can see we've got some. Again, I would never do this with a bigger 20 something with a higher center of gravity. It's just too complicated to do that right here. It's easy peasy because we have that low center of gravity design. So nothing to it, cakewalk easy, and then we just continue on. But like I said, debris everywhere. The bike handles it like a dream. You know, just rolls right through this stuff. Like I said, hopefully I'll be able to try some other ones in the future and maybe do some more comparisons so we can see what else is available out there. This is my first e-bike, not my first bike. I've had many fat tire bikes, and I've had many mountain bikes. I used to race BMX bikes. I used to build custom bikes for people, so I know a lot about bikes. This is not a new world for me, but this e-bike thing is a new world for me. So we're excited to learn more about it. We'll keep you updated on how it goes, but so far I'm very impressed with this Fiido T1 Pro. All right, so we just got back. There it is, another day on the Fiido T1 Pro, and I think we did probably about 9 miles today. Again, rough country road kind of, or rough footpath road kind of thing. But so finally, it's like closing in this video. We'll do more with this thing later on as we get more time with it. But a couple things that I wish. I love everything about it. I love the frame. Like I said, I cannot get enough of how sturdy that frame is. I've had racks on the back of many other bikes before, including fat tire bikes, and they were decent, but nothing like this. This thing is a beast of a rack that is on that. That whole frame system being integrated into it is incredible. Okay, I love that. I wish they came out with a foot peg option so you could actually remove that. I know that makes no sense for most people, and but I'm not most people. Okay, I'm not most people at all. I'm for what I'm going to do with it. You know, where I showed you how I had to work my way around all those blowdowns and get around those logs and those trees that fell over. The pedals get in my way, and I bump back and forth in them. I would much rather have the whole crankcase removed and a foot peg option on both sides, just a foot peg to stand on, and you just use battery power all the time. That's what I would prefer myself for what I'm going to use it for. I know I'm in a minority, but I would love to see a kit that I could do, that I could remove the crank, the whole crank set in the front, and remove the chain, the derailleur, remove all that, and just simply have foot pegs on it and run it by battery power. I would love that. The only other real complaint that may bother some people, look, you can see I even got Spanish moss, or down here in Georgia there, but see, I put these clamps on here. I had to, because if I don't, even a full-size 1 liter water bottle like this, okay, this is a 1 liter bottle right here, this will shoot out of those sides and come right through here. It fits between here. So I put these on here, which are just some Night Eye gear tie things that I had laying around, so that water, otherwise when I'm riding, that water bottle will fly out either side on the bumps. So I wish they put another couple of rails on this basket to prevent that from happening. The back one doesn't bother me because that case is there, but put a couple more bars in there to make this a little bit more locked in would be nice. That would be my complaint. But imagine that. That's the only bad things I got to say to about it. And they're not even bad things. They're just wish list stuff. Like I said, most people would argue and not want to get rid of the crank. I would love a foot peg option and get rid of all that stuff, so I'm not dealing with it on logs and sticks and debris and stuff like that, getting caught in there, knocking the chain off or any of that stuff. It'd just be nice to get rid of the whole drivetrain on this and let it be pure power. There you go. There's a review of the Fiido T1 Pro. As always, thanks for watching.